Isidore, welcome to the Digital Scene Show here at the DV Expo 2009. Now, you're a world-renowned cinematographer. You're here at the DV Expo representing the ASC. Is that what it is?
Correct. We're doing a number of presentations at the Expo, yes.
I see. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about that presentation. What kind of things did you cover?
Well, each of the cinematographers shows a clip of film of some lighting that they did on a feature film that they're proud of or that has some obvious twist to it. Mine was the Summer in Time movie with Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour, and I showed the love scene at the end of the film and the eventual, it was a time, Summer in Time is a time travel film, a love story. At the end of the film, he suddenly makes a mistake and he goes back to the modern times and he gets very depressed and starves himself to death. So I've got parts of all of that end of the film in my clips. At the end of the showing of the clips, the audience asked questions about the lighting or anything else they wanted to ask.
Now, that must have been an incredible experience to work with Christopher Reeve, right, at that time?
Well, Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour were both wonderful people to work with in Summer in Time. They're very cooperative, didn't complain about anything except that Christopher Reeve has had very light blue eyes and the lights bothered him, but we managed to deal with that. And Christopher just thought it was a lark having people pay him all that money to do something he loved to do anyway. So it was wonderful working with him.
Now, you've had an amazing career. You worked on so many movies. I think one of your favorite ones was the Muppet movie you worked on, you mentioned?
I did 2 movies with the Muppets. The Muppet movie, which is the first of the Muppet movies. And the other one is...
which I love, by the way. I remember watching that movie when it came out.
It's very popular today. It's never going to grow old.
My kids watch it.
Yeah, it's never going to grow old. And the other film I did is The Muppets in 3D.
Okay.
Which is one of the best 3D films technically ever made. Not necessarily because of me, but because of a combination of me and a technical person. And that shows at the California Adventure and at the MGM Disney Studio Tour in Florida, and probably seen by more people than any feature has ever shown.
So you're the cinematographer on the 3D
I was
one.
Indeed cinematographer.
Now, what kind of challenges did you run into, specifically, let's say with the Muppets? I mean, that's lighting-wise, that must have been an interesting thing, right? Because you have people underneath it controlling everything.
Well, the problem with Muppets was framing was one of the big problems.
Sure.
Because you had the hands and the rods, and you had to try to keep them out of the frame, so you were constantly putting them at the bottom of the frame, which looks awful. So you always had a technical problem trying to get a decent looking frame with them. As far as lighting goes, they were wonderful to light because they never complained about light in their eyes or standing in for a long period of time. So they were fine that way.
Except Miss Piggy, I would imagine she would complain all the time.
She did. And Kermit always, if you talk to Kermit and say, Kermit, could you move over a little bit when you're filming him? Kermit would answer me in Kermit's voice, not in Henson's voice. And, oh, sure, Isidore, I'll do that, yeah.
That must have been incredible. So what kind of techniques would you recommend to somebody that is doing web videos? Because there's a lot of people doing web videos today, and they want to give it a more cinematic look, right? Are there any special techniques you would recommend that people could use?
Yeah, what I might recommend is somebody who's trying to get into some kind of filmmaking or video whatever besides. There are a lot of different avenues now. I would say, first of all, forget everything you learned about composition and just do what looks good into the camera. If it looks good, looks right for what you're doing, for the content, shoot it. Forget about the 1/3 frame up and sideways, the vertical, the horizontal. By the time you decide what what's supposed to go in that third of the frame, the image is going away.
Right.
So just forget it and use your instincts.
So learn the rules and then know when and how to break them.
Absolutely. Learn the rules, as you say, then learn how and when to break them. Absolutely.
Isidore, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.